Have you ever noticed how the moment you stop trying to impress her, she suddenly can't get you out of her head? It's like clockwork. You've been there, chasing her every move, texting first, bending over backwards to prove you're worth her time. And what happens? She barely blinks, takes you for granted, keeps you dangling. Then one day, you say enough, pull back, shift your focus to your own life, and boom, she's the one reaching out, wondering where you went. It's not a trick, it's not a game, it's a secret Stoic truth most men stumble through life never figuring out. Welcome back to Stoic Spirit, where ancient wisdom turns weakness into unshakable power. Today I'm revealing 5 Stoic secrets that flip the script. When you stop trying, she can't let you go. Hit that subscribe button now, because by the end, you'll see her attention isn't the prize, you are. Stick around. The last secret will redefine how you approach every relationship forever. Let's dive in. Here's the harsh reality. Most men waste their energy chasing women who don't see their value. They think more effort, more texts, more explanations will win her over. I've been that guy. Years back, I'd spend hours crafting the perfect message to a girl who'd ghost me without a second thought. I thought I was losing her. Turns out I was losing myself. Then Stoicism flipped everything. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Her interest? That's outside your control. Your confidence? That's all you. These 5 secrets aren't about making her chase you. They're about becoming so unshakable that she can't help but notice. Ready to stop trying and start winning? Let's go. Number 1. The paradox of effort. Less wins more. Secret 1. The harder you try, the less she cares. It's a paradox that stings, but it's true. When you pour your heart and soul into impressing her, bending over backwards to win her over, you don't pull her closer, you push her away. But here's the twist. The second you ease up, stop hustling for her approval, she leans in, curious, intrigued. Why does this happen? Because neediness repels like a bad smell, while confidence attracts like a magnet. Think about it. The guy who's always texting first, double-checking if she's replied, hovering around her like a lost puppy, he's background noise. Predictable, forgettable. She knows he's not going anywhere, so why would she care? Now flip the script. Picture the guy who doesn't rush to hit send, who's too busy carving his own path to beg for a crumb of her time. He's the one she can't stop thinking about, the one who lingers in her mind when the phone stays silent. I learned this the hard way, bruised ego and all. A girl I liked kept me on read for days, sometimes weeks. I'd double text, triple text, crafting these long, desperate messages to over-explain why I was worth her time. Cringe doesn't even cover it. I'd sit there, refreshing my phone, heart sinking with every ignored, "Hey, you okay?" She didn't just drift further, she practically vanished. Then one day, I'd had enough. I stopped, went silent, ditched the phone, and threw myself into my goals. Hit the gym, started a project, got my head straight. 3 days later, out of nowhere, she texted, "Hey, where have you been?" Less effort flipped the script overnight. I wasn't playing games. I was done playing hers. Stoic wisdom from Epictetus hits this nail on the head. There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things beyond your power. Her response? That's her call. You can't control it and you don't need to. Her interest? That's her burden, not yours. What you can control is your energy, where you put it, how you spend it. Stop pouring it into a black hole of indifference. Here's a real-world example. A buddy of mine chased a girl for months. Flowers, late-night calls, the works. She'd give him scraps, keep him dangling. Then he quit cold turkey, started training for a marathon instead. 2 weeks later, she's asking, "Why haven't I heard from you?" Less effort didn't just get her attention, it got her chasing. Here's your move, practical and sharp. Next time you're tempted to chase, those itchy fingers hovering over the send button, pause. Take a breath. Match her effort, not a drop more. If she's distant, let her feel the cold air of your absence. Don't beg for her crumbs, build something she can't ignore. She'll notice when you're not on your knees pleading for her attention. Tell me in the comments, when did you try too hard and lose her interest? What happened when you pulled back? Let's unpack it together. Number 2. Silence is your strength. Speak less, stand out. Secret 2. Silence isn't weakness, it's your weapon, sharp and loaded. Most men talk themselves right out of her respect, tripping over their own tongues to fill the air with noise. They react fast, explain too much, flood every gap with desperate words, thinking it'll prove their worth. But here's the cold truth. The more you say, the less she hears. A Stoic knows better. He wields silence like a blade, cutting through the chaos with calm, deliberate stillness. Silence doesn't just create mystery. It builds power, intrigue, a quiet storm she can't ignore. When you don't respond right away, when you leave that empty space hanging, she wonders why. And that wonder? It's a hook. It keeps you lodged in her mind like a song she can't shake. Picture this. She sends a vague text, testing your temperature. You're too quiet lately. Most guys leap into the trap. No, I'm just busy, I swear. Their fingers flying, spilling excuses like a kid caught red-handed. They think they're saving face, but they're handing over their dignity. A Stoic? He smirks, lets the message sit, replies hours later with a single word. Maybe. That's it. No fuss, no begging, just a ripple in the water. She's left spinning. What's he doing? Where's he at? Why isn't he chasing me? I tried this once and it flipped everything. A girl baited me with, "You don't seem interested anymore." Old me would have panicked, launched into a frantic defense. "No, I care. Let me prove it." I'd have drowned in my own words. New me armed with Stoic steel? I paused, said nothing for a full day, then texted back, "I'm good." She called me that night, voice curious, almost nervous, asking what I'd been up to. Silence didn't just get her attention, it pulled her in. But it's not just about texts, it's everywhere. Think of a heated argument. The guy who yells loses control. The one who stays quiet owns the room. I saw this with a friend once. His ex kept poking him, throwing jabs like, "You're so distant now." He used to bite, argue for hours. This time, he looked her in the eye, said nothing, walked away. 2 days later, she's texting apologies, begging to talk. Why? Seneca nailed it. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. When you're silent, her imagination runs wild. She fills the void with questions, doubts, maybe even a little fear of losing you. That's where the power lies. She's doing the work, not you. Your move, simple but lethal. Next time she tests you, throws a baited line or a subtle dig, don't bite. Wait. Let the clock tick. Say less than you want. Half a sentence, a single word, not a rambling paragraph. Watch her scramble to fill the empty space you've left. Silence isn't passive, it's active, a statement louder than any shout. Ever used silence and seen her chase? Maybe she called, texted twice, showed up out of nowhere? Drop your story in the comments. I want to hear how it played out for you. Silence sets the stage, it's your opening move. But detachment? That steals the show, turning you into a force she can't resist watching unfold. Number 3. Detachment makes you magnetic. Let go to pull her in. Secret 3. Detachment isn't cold, it's magnetic, a quiet force that draws her in like gravity. When you stop needing her approval, when you cut loose that desperate grip on her attention, you don't fade into the shadows. You become the man she can't ignore, the one she can't shake from her thoughts. Most guys cling like their life depends on it. If I let go, I'll lose her forever. They're dead wrong. Holding on, clutching tight with sweaty palms, doesn't keep her close. It pushes her away, screaming neediness from a mile off. But here's the twist. Letting go, stepping back into your own world, pulls her in like a tide she can't fight. It's not about pretending you don't care, playing some icy game. It's about knowing deep in your bones that you're enough without her, that your worth doesn't hang on her next text or fleeting glance. I had a friend who learned this the messy way. He chased a girl for months, texts every day, late-night calls spilling his heart, even flowers delivered to her door like some rom-com cliché. She barely noticed, tossed him scraps of attention, kept him dangling on a string. He was a ghost in her world. There, but invisible. Then he hit a breaking point. Stopped cold. No more messages, no more pleading. He started hitting the gym, sweat pouring as he lifted his frustrations away, poured his energy into building a side business that lit him up. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks, she's sliding into his inbox. "Hey, why haven't I seen you around?" Her tone wasn't casual, it was laced with something else, curiosity, maybe a flicker of panic. Detachment flipped the dynamic upside down. He wasn't chasing her anymore. She was circling him, wondering what shifted. Epictetus taught us this raw truth. Freedom is won by disregarding things beyond our control. Her interest? That's her call. Out of your hands, out of your orbit. Your worth? That's all yours, forged in the fire of your own making. I've seen it play out myself. A girl I liked pulled away, gave me the cold shoulder. Old me would have chased. What'd I do wrong? How do I fix this? New me shrugged, let it be, threw myself into running trails until my legs burned. A month later, she's texting. You seem different lately. What's up? I wasn't trying to pull her in. I was too busy pulling myself up. That's the paradox. When you detach, you don't lose. You gain traction. Your move, real and razor sharp. Next time that itch to chase creeps in, those restless fingers twitching to text, to call, to prove something, stop dead. Redirect that restless energy. Hit the weights until your muscles scream. Crack open a book that sparks your mind. Chase a goal that's yours alone, not her shadow, not her crumbs. When she sees you thriving without her, standing tall in your own light, she'll wonder why she ever let you slip through her fingers. It's not manipulation, it's liberation. What's one thing you stopped chasing, let go of completely, and saw her notice? Maybe even chase you back? Share it in the comments. I want to hear how detachment turned the tables for you. Number 4. Growth is your gravity. Improve and she'll orbit. Secret 4. Nothing pulls her in like your growth. It's your gravity, an invisible force that keeps her circling back. When you level up, when you sharpen your body, expand your mind, and elevate your life, she can't peel her eyes away. Most men stay stuck, frozen in the same old rut, begging for her attention like a dog scratching at a locked door. They're static, predictable, fading into the background of her world. A Stoic? He evolves, he transforms, and that evolution doesn't just whisper, it radiates, a beacon she can't ignore. People don't chase stagnation, they chase progress, the kind of momentum that hums with life, that screams, this man's going somewhere. I used to be that guy who'd wait for her texts, glued to my phone, refreshing it like a fool caught in a loop of desperation. I'd sit there, heart sinking with every silent minute, thinking her reply would somehow stitch me back together. Then I stopped, ripped myself out of that spiral. I started running every morning, legs pounding the pavement until the sweat washed away the neediness. I cracked open Marcus Aurelius, letting his words carve clarity into my mind. Started building skills, writing, coding, anything to stretch who I was. Months later, she saw me, fitter, sharper, calmer, a man who'd traded chasing her for chasing himself. You're different, she said, eyes wide, voice catching like she'd stumbled onto something she'd missed. I wasn't trying to impress her, I was impressing myself, forging a version of me I could stand tall in. Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That's the deal. Growth isn't about her applause, it's about your own pride. But it's not just my story. A guy I know was stuck in a dead-end cycle. Same job, same bar, same whining texts to a girl who'd barely give him a nod. She'd string him along, toss him crumbs, keep him orbiting her like a moth to a dim bulb. Then he snapped out of it, quit the bar scene, signed up for a trade course, started lifting weights like his life depended on it. 6 months later, he's a carpenter with calloused hands and quiet confidence. She runs into him at a coffee shop, jaw-dropping. You've changed. What's going on? He just grinned, sipped his black coffee. Life's good. She's texting him that night, asking to catch up. I heard about a guy who was always the quiet shadow at every party. Nice, but invisible, the kind of dude she'd nod at and forget. She'd brush him off, barely remember his name. Then he decided enough was enough. Signed up for a public speaking class, started practicing every day, turned his mumbles into words that hit like thunder. A year later, he's commanding rooms, voice steady, eyes sharp. She spots him at an event, jaw-dropping. I didn't know you had this in you. He just smiled. Neither did I. Growth didn't just catch her eye, it turned him into a star she couldn't orbit fast enough. Here's why it works. When you grow, you don't need to shout about it. Your presence does the talking. She sees the sharper jawline, hears the steadier voice, feels the calm that wasn't there before, and suddenly, you're not the guy she could brush off. You're a force moving forward, a man who doesn't beg for her spotlight because he's got his own sun. Your move, simple and seismic. Pick one area, fitness, knowledge, passion, and grow. Don't announce it on some billboard. Don't parade it for likes. Let her see it in the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you live. She'll orbit a man who's charging ahead, not one standing still, rusting in yesterday's dust. What's one way you've leveled up that caught her eye? Maybe a skill, a habit, a shift she couldn't ignore. Tell me below. I want to hear how your gravity pulled her back. Your growth pulls her in like gravity. It's undeniable. But your worth? That keeps you steady, a rock she can't move no matter how hard she tries. Number 5. You're the prize. She'll feel it when you know it. Secret 5. You don't need her to see your worth. You need to see it, feel it, live it deep in your core. Most men stumble through life thinking her attention is the golden ticket that defines them, that her texts, her glances, her fleeting nods are what stitch their value together. Wrong. They're dead wrong. Your worth isn't some fragile thread dangling from her fingertips, waiting for her to tug or snip. It's not in her inbox, her half-hearted hey, or the way she looks at you across a crowded room. It's in you, forged from the inside out, unshakable and whole. When you stop trying to prove it, when you quit that frantic dance to earn her approval, she feels it like a shockwave. And here's the kicker. By then, you don't even care if she does, because you've already claimed the throne you were bowing to her for. I chased a girl once. Hard. Thought her approval would glue me back together, make me whole, fill the cracks I didn't even know I had. I'd send walls of text, wait by my phone like a prisoner for her reply, hang on every word she tossed my way like it was gospel. She ghosted me, vanished without a trace. It broke me, left me staring at a cracked reflection, wondering what I'd done wrong. But that fracture was my forge. I rebuilt, piece by jagged piece. Stopped chasing her shadow, started chasing my own light. Focused on my life, not hers. Hit the trails until my lungs burned, stacked skills like bricks, built a fortress of me that didn't need her scaffolding. Months later, out of the blue, she texted, "Hey, you've changed." Her voice had a tremble, like she'd seen something she'd missed. I didn't reply. Not out of spite, not to play some petty game, but because I didn't need to. A week later, she showed up at my door, unannounced, her eyes searching. "Can we talk?" But I wasn't there, out living my new life, running trails with the wind in my face, building a world she'd never fit into anymore. She texted again, "Where are you?" I saw it, smirked, kept running. I wasn't hiding. I was too far gone, too deep in my own rhythm to turn back. Her words were just echoes. I'd already moved past the echo chamber. Seneca said, "A man is as unhappy as he has convinced himself he is." Stop convincing yourself you need her to crown you. You're already the king of your own damn kingdom. It's not just my story. Watch this play out anywhere. A guy I knew spent years orbiting a girl, always at her beck and call, a loyal satellite spinning in her gravity. She'd give him scraps, "You're sweet," a pat on the head, then leave him hanging for weeks. He was her safety net, always there, always waiting. Then he snapped awake, quit the orbit, started climbing his own ladder, took up boxing, got lean and mean, launched a podcast that blew up. 6 months later, she's at his door, literally, saying, "I didn't realize how much you meant." He smiled, keeping it polite but distant. "Good to know," didn't invite her in. I heard about a guy who was her backup plan, always there when she needed a shoulder, a text away when her main guy flaked. She'd call him reliable, then vanish. One day, he woke up, dropped the phone, picked up a guitar, started playing gigs, built a life that sang louder than her silence. Months later, she's at his show, front row, eyes locked. "I didn't realize you were this amazing." He nodded, kept strumming. "Took me a while too." She lingered after, wanting back in, but he'd already claimed his stage. Her spotlight didn't matter anymore. Why? Because he'd realized he was the prize, not her approval, not her crumbs. She felt it when he knew it, but by then, he was too far gone to care. Your move, raw and real. Next time she pulls away, don't chase her tail like a dog after a bone. Stand still, breathe, ask yourself one piercing question. Does she deserve me? Not, how do I win her back? Flip that script. Build a life so solid, so towering, her absence doesn't even rattle the foundation. Hit the gym, stack your wins, chase your fire, not her flicker. When she comes back, and trust me, she will, eyes wide and voice soft, you'll hold the reins, deciding if she's worth a corner of your empire. When did you realize you're the prize? That moment her attention stopped mattering because you'd claimed your own? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear when you crowned yourself. When you stop trying, she can't let you go. Not because you tricked her with some clever ploy, but because you became unshakable. A rock in a sea of chaos she can't pull away from. These 5 Stoic secrets. Less effort that flips the game, silence that echoes louder than shouts, detachment that turns you magnetic, growth that radiates like gravity, and knowing your worth as the prize aren't about her fleeting glances or half-hearted texts. They're about you, the man you're forging in the fire of your own will. You're not chasing her attention like a shadow in the wind. You're building your power, stacking brick after brick into a fortress she can't crack. She might notice, she might return, might even knock on your door months later, voice trembling with regret. But here's the real win, the unshakable truth. You won't need her to. Picture this, she texts you out of the blue, months down the line, but you're too busy thriving, too deep in your own empire to even flinch. That's magnetic confidence. That's stoic strength, the kind that echoes through time. If this hit you hard, if it sparked something fierce inside, drop "I'm the prize" in the comments. Let me see your power rise. Subscribe to Stoic Spirit for more on mastering life, love, and everything that tries to shake you. There's so much more value waiting in our next videos. Share this with a guy still chasing, still stuck in the quicksand of neediness. He needs this lifeline. What's one secret you'll wield today to shift your world? Tell me. I read every reply, every story you bring. Thank you for watching, for standing with me on this journey. Your growth, your fire, it's the fuel that keeps this alive. Stay stoic, stay strong, keep exploring with us. See you in the next one.